Hello YouTube, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be taking you on a short journey along the Leeds Canal all the way up to Skipton and talking about whether buying a gravel bike is the right thing for you. So let's get to it, shall we? So one of the key important factors of buying a gravel bike, I would suggest researching your area, where you live, right before you take the plunge like I did. So I basically had a gravel ride in Barcelona last year, got back, thought, you know what, I'm gonna get a gravel bike without even considering what is on my doorstep, just on the edge of Leeds where I live. So I highly recommend going to Komoot, changing the option to gravel riding. They have this new kind of gravel ride builder functionality on the website, which is really, really good. And what you can do is just scope out gravel rides that Komoot suggests for you in the area. And if you zoom in enough, you can see little green dots, and they basically use the photos of certain trails and tracks. You just get an idea of what is around you. Because depending where you live, it's nothing worse than really having to ride 10 or 15 miles out to some sort of gravel, you know, and then obviously doing it on the way back. Like I said before, today just heading over to Skipton. The weather is pretty mild this time of year, so I just thought, book a day off work, make the most of it. So I'm going all the way on the Leeds Canal up to Skipton, probably a spot of lunch or something, and then all the way back. And another personal favourite point of gravel bikes myself is the relaxed geometry. I mean, look at that top tube, how much it dips down. I don't know if it's because I'm getting a bit older now, I'm going to be 41 soon. I'm just quite enjoying this, you know, much more upright, relaxed way of riding. The things with the comfort as well, I've recently got this SDG Bell Air X saddle from Silverfish Gravel. That's super good. It's got a nice cut out relief channel as well. We've got defused handlebars on the Giant here, so they're oval shaped, so it helps with the vibrations on the rough stuff. When it comes to group sets, especially on the Shimano side, obviously, a lot of them have the GRX, which is the Shimano gravel group set. So this is a 48-31 11 speed with a 34 cassette at the back, and the gearing is just perfect. I mean, I love it. Even when I'm on the road sections, going uphill, I just find I can spin so much nicer, you know, compared to being on a normal road bike. One thing I wish I might have got before was the Di2. Now I know obviously it costs a bit more, and if you crash it, it's going to cost more to repair. But I've been on a few events where I've gone through so many sort of rough sections, and it's completely screwed up the cable tension or even the rear mech or the front mech to the point where it's not really shifting that well and having to make adjustments. So that is something to consider if you are buying a gravel bike or in the market for one. Another point obviously as well is whether you want to go 1x or 2x. This is obviously a 2x, so again, if you went 1x, bigger cassette to go up and down, but you also eliminate the issues that you might be facing with the front mech going out of whack on a big ride. And of course, everybody's hot topic is the wider tyres. I've got 45s on this. They are Pirelli Cinturato Gravel M's. It did come with 40mm Cadex tyres, but I switched it to a more chunkier tread, as you can see there. And they're running these at something ridiculous like 35-40 psi. Tubeless as well, and it's just an absolute pleasure to ride. So another one really is taking part in events. If you're like me and you've got a gravel bike on a bit of a whim, maybe not anyone to really ride with, or your local community isn't really into gravel, I highly recommend getting into some like gravel events, sportives and things like that. So ones of note that I've done around in England is the Glorious Gravel. They are all over the place in England, Wales, Scotland, you name it. We've also got some ones in somewhere in Europe, I think, coming up next year. That's worth a look. If you're based in Yorkshire, like I am, the Yorkshire Divide and Calder Divide, run by a guy called Adrian. I recently did the Calder Divide. I'll put a link underneath for you to look at. That is like a gravel bikepacking adventure. That is just absolutely amazing. Another one I know of, which I haven't actually done yet, is the Struggle. The Struggle guys, I've done some of their road events over the past few years, but just recently started dipping into the gravel scene. So I'll probably be looking to get on their Struggle Borderlands next year. And on the sort of topic of just exploring and doing events and things like that, get the train out of your local area. because you just don't really know what's on your doorstep, you know, and it's just good to sit on a train for maybe 20-30 minutes, get into the middle of nowhere, do a sort of gravel loop, and then just know that you've got that comfort of just getting on the train and heading back home, and then you might only be, you know, 10-15 minute ride from the train station. This is such a lovely day, you know that. Another part about gravel riding is it's inevitable that you're going to get very, very messy. Just look at my feet. It's so hard to keep these shoes clean. My legs covered in mud just from a canal ride today. See the front mech gets muddy very quickly. The rear jockey wheels especially get so much mud and crap clogged up in them. And it's just, you know, part of off-road riding. It's going to happen at some point. I've got helicopter tape all over my bike in certain places. And you can see there where I didn't have any recently on an event, and my top tube bag, a much longer one, has kind of taken the some of the clear coat gloss off. And what I also don't get is when you see people on gravel bikes wearing white shoes and white socks, because why the hell would you when you're riding off-road? I'll leave them to that. I mean, this is just a prime example of how muddy your bike can get. Some arse savers, mud guards, they're pretty good. So you've got one here to stop some of the flick from the front wheel, and you've got arse savers wind wing, it's called. It just kind of protects your rear end, not anyone who's riding behind you. I'll leave a link down in the description below for discounts on those, and also some of the true tension products that I've started to use for cleaning the bike. I think you can get 15% off using my code, so yeah, I'll put that down there, and yeah, go shop and enjoy. And I guess one of the sort of final tips is, best part of gravel is just getting out there and enjoying it, you know. There's not really much else to really say about it. I mean, look at this. Autumn is coming, or fall is coming if you're in the States. I really couldn't care less about the numbers when I'm doing gravel. I just come out for, you know, sort of mental health, mental well-being, get the fresh air, just cruise along at my own will, you know. I'm in sort of zone 1, zone 2 the whole time, and I'd rather be doing that than zone 2 endurance training indoors looking at a wall on the turbo trainer like some people do. So I think as we're coming to winter and stuff this year, I'll certainly be making more time for the gravel bike in the endurance zone, getting ready for outdoor riding next year, back on the road bike. And yeah, if you've enjoyed the content today, the tips, the advice, whatever you want to call it, please do consider subscribing. I do appreciate it. Hit that like button and drop a comment below, because I'm bound to have missed some sort of top tip or some advice around gravel bikes and people new to gravel cycling. So please do share your feedback below as well. And on that note, I'll see you next time. Peace.